SB326 and SB721. Do these affect you? What are they? Stay tuned to find out. Hey everyone, it's me, Corrie Sommers, your local Los Angeles realtor, and I am here with Helen of Retrofit One, and we are going to talk about a couple of things that might affect you and your home ownership. SB326 and SB721. Now these are, well actually, why don't you explain what they are? Because one affects condo owners and HOAs, and the other one affects multi-units, apartment buildings, and duplexes and things like that.
Thank you, Corrie. Hi everybody, I'm Helen, and we're here to talk about, like Corrie mentioned, SB326 and SB721. This law applies to mainly all buildings with 3 or more units to get your exterior elevated elements inspected every 6 years or 9 years for condos. SB326 is for HOAs and condos. SB721 is for apartment buildings. So if you have 3 or more units in your building, with any type of exterior elevated element such as balcony, walkway, stairways, landings, catwalks, handrails, anything like that, that is at least 6 feet above ground and wood framed. That's the key component. If it's made out of wood above 6 feet, protrudes out of the building, or it's over any type of open space, uninhabited space, you must get these elements inspected. It's every 6 years for apartment buildings and every 9 years for condos. However, the first deadline is the same for everybody, and that's January 1st, 2025. So basically that's the end of 2024. You have a little bit more than 1 year left to do this, and this was effective in 2019 already.
And it seems like I'm hearing more from some clients that are saying, hey Corrie, I think I want to sell my condo and buy a home because my association is doing this big assessment and it's going to be $4 million and we're going to have to pay $20,000 to $40,000, and they're horrified, right? Like who really has that on top of your HOA, right? And so they're saying, we think we want to sell. And that's what really kind of made me reach out to you and say, wait a second, I own an investment property that's a condo. I haven't heard anything from my HOA. Trust me, that they're getting a call this week. But how does this really impact people? Like, for example, I have a patio. I have a townhome, so I'm upstairs, downstairs. There's no one above me, and I have no balcony. I have a flat patio. I've tiled it in, and it's concrete walls, and then right on the ground. So there's nothing below. There's no crawl space. Okay. Would that affect someone like me, or what type of patios and balconies does this affect?
Great question. So if your patio, from what I'm hearing, is on the ground floor, then it is exempt. No need to inspect anything that's on the ground floor, because one of those main components and requirements is 6 feet and over. Okay. So if you are less than 6 feet, you are exempt. You do not have to get those inspected. If it is over 6 feet, then yes, and of course made out of wood. But if it's over 6 feet and kind of recessed and it's above dwelling, I can show you guys some examples later on our website or anything like that. If it is above dwelling space, you're exempt as well. And any type of Romeo and Juliet style balconies that don't have any area for human load, also exempt. So the items that are not exempt are the obvious ones: balconies that cantilever or overhang out of the building with nothing underneath. You must get those inspected. Internal, if you have an internal courtyard in your building with those walkways or catwalks that connect them, or just those external walkways that help you lead to all of the entry doors, those must be inspected also. All of the waterproofing systems must be inspected. The landings for your stairways, if it's over 6 feet, also must be inspected.
Just by that description, that affects a number of condo communities throughout Los Angeles, the West Side and the Valley. I mean, just a half a dozen popped to my mind when you were describing that. So if you do own a condo and you have a walkway, you have a balcony, anything that she's just described, and your HOA has not mentioned anything to you, you might want to reach out to your management company and say, hey, what are we doing regarding SB 326? Is an inspection scheduled, what is happening here, how is this going to impact it, and I'm a firm believer you should get a little bit more involved with your HOA meetings, because this might already be a topic that they're discussing, and you want to be informed as to what's coming up, because if you're like my client, who they have found out it's going to cost $4 million and their portion of that is $20,000 to $40,000, you might want to consider, is this time to sell and move on and get out from this kind of situation. Now let's talk about what is the remedy, so to speak, if it's inspected and something is found that's not to the standard of this new passing.
So that is where some of the differences are between 721 and 326. So under 721, which are apartment buildings, there are firmer, more rigid requirements for when those repairs come up. So basically your steps are have the inspection. A report is then prepared for you by the engineer, architect, or contractor. Within that report, it will show if there are any high category elements that are severely hazardous, a severe threat to the residents or the tenants. Under 721, there are stricter timelines for getting those elements repaired. However, some type of, buffer that's helpful for SB326, the condos and HOAs. There is no strict timeline when it comes to repairing those Category 5 items. Access must be restricted 100% because you must block it off. If it's whether it's an individual balcony for an owner or if it's a communal space, access must be restricted. If it is something that's Category 5, imminent threat, yes, you must work on it, but there are no other deadlines for your other repairs that you need to get, especially when they pertain to an individual resident or owner. SB 721 does have 120 days to at least pull a permit for structural repairs, and then another 120 days to get those elements repaired. So it's a little different when it comes between 721 and 326. And another thing that can be helpful as well, the entire process takes, I would say, at least 4 to 6 months. From the time you sign with someone, the inspection is scheduled. The inspection can take anywhere from a day for a smaller building to a couple of weeks for large hundreds of unit communities. And then after that, it takes also another about 60 days to prepare your report. So after all of that is said and done, several months have already lapsed. So in case reserves or special assessments are needed, you do have time throughout the entire inspection process. And then of course, we work with you if any elements are flagged on that highest level. But if anything is not flagged to that highest level, access must be restricted, but you don't have to worry about a timeline that's around the corner or something's gonna happen, as long as you're following code and restricting access appropriately.
So restricting access, that would mean if you have a balcony, not using the balcony,
Exactly.
stepping out on it, that sort of thing?
Exactly. Putting caution tape, cones, alerting the HOA as well that element from this unit or this stairway, this whatever it is not to be used, and it is blocked off
So that
until repairs are done, of course.
So that can really impact some communities that have the catwalks, that really rely on that. So this is serious, okay? If you own a condo, if you're living in a condo community, if you own it as an investment like me, this is something to really be aware of and on top of. If you are purchasing a duplex or a triplex, or you own apartment buildings or getting prepared to buy an apartment building. I have a client that they form a collective and they're like, next year we want to buy an apartment building. So this is something to be aware of. Might be something to ask when you're going and looking at property. Has this inspection taken place? Do they have it scheduled? If not, this might fall on your head. So these are some, I think, pretty important questions, right?
Definitely. And again, it does apply to 3 or more units. So single family homes, duplexes are exempt. However, 3 units or above, it does apply to. But excellent questions regarding has the HOA even received any bids? Have they been interviewing any companies? What we do personally for our HOAs and large communities, we can provide lunch and learns, HOA board meetings, we can go in person, We can do it through Zoom. And this is all under our division, Balcony 1, which right here, Balcony 1, specializes only on these balcony inspections and repairs. Our other divisions, of course, apply to our other specialties that we do, but we have a division that specializes only on balcony walkway inspections and repairs. Balcony 1.
Okay, just pause because we're... So just to clarify, if you own a duplex or a single family home, this doesn't apply to you. And you guys do get calls from people that own duplexes concerned about this. It is 3 units or more. So let me ask this question though, because this might be that gray area. Let's say you own a duplex, but you've converted the garage into an ADU. Does that now apply?
Interesting. Off the top of my head, I would say under ADU rules, no, because the ADU isn't permitted as a primary unit. It's just permitted as an ADU, and it does not change the building into 3 units. But definitely still something to look into for the general maintenance of your building. And if we hear otherwise, that it does trigger this requirement, we will absolutely spread the word.
Now, you guys, I'm assuming, have been quite busy with this, especially as the deadline is now a year away. We are all creatures of habits. We all procrastinate a bit. 2019, how many people really started moving? 2020, we're in the pandemic. How many people started moving, right? Now that life is more normal, even though we're affected by a strike here in Los Angeles, I'm assuming things have just ramped up for you guys.
Absolutely. It's definitely picked up as the deadline's approaching, since realistically it's the end of next year. So that's no issue for us. I was telling Corrie, we are about to dispatch even more crews so we can handle the volume, and so you're not waiting that much longer for your inspection. So at this point, with a year away, and that this applies to almost every single building in California, this is a state law, we have more crews being dispatched every day to handle several inspections per day. So that way you can still meet your deadline as long as you get in quickly and still meet all of your requirements and be in compliance with the state.
So let's talk about this point for someone that's watching and maybe concerned about their apartment building or their condo association. What areas do you cover, and do you have relationships with people in other areas? For example, if someone is down in San Clemente, they own a 6-unit building, do you have crew to go down there, or do you have a partnership with someone that would be able to help them out?
Luckily, we're able to serve almost all areas of California. It's easy for us to send our crews for these inspections because, as mentioned, they can take anywhere from 1 day, a week, 2 weeks. So we're doing our best right now to try to serve and support all areas of California for your inspections.
Amazing. I love you guys, so I think that is wonderful. I'm going to have to reach out to my client to see who they got their quote from.
Yeah, happy to give them another compare.
Right?
We'll see if we can save them some money and still meet compliance for their inspection.
And you also mentioned something that I thought was interesting. You participate in some HOA board meetings to share information about this?
Yes.
Okay, that is wonderful. And so everybody, contact information is below. If you're a board member, if you guys have been discussing this, or it's not even been on your agendas and you're like, ooh, we kind of missed this and we need to pay attention, reach out to Helen. She can participate, whether that's coming in person or having a Zoom. And I know some, like my HOA does both. They do the live and the Zoom. So that's awesome for me because I don't live close to my investment property. So I like to pop in every once in a while to see what's going on. And this is certainly something I'm going to bring up next meeting. So all contact information is below. The time to procrastinate is past. It is time for action because this next year will fly by, especially if permits are taking 4 to 6 months, right?
Right.
There's no more time to wait. So make sure if your condo association has not mentioned this to you, if you have not received any notification of an assessment, I personally would reach out just to your management and say, hey, are we affected by SB326? And if you own apartments, you need to really jump on this and not wait.
Of course, and ask them, have we gotten a quote from Balcony 1? Because if you haven't, I highly suggest you do. We could help save you money. We do everything right the first time and help make your building, your condo safer, and we support everybody, and we're here to answer any questions you guys have. throughout the entire process.
If you are searching for a home, you can register on my website to browse all the properties that are currently on the market here in Los Angeles. My website is very interactive. You can create your own fun experience. You can communicate with me through the website. You can send me a text and I will get it immediately. We can have dialogue about a property that you think is fun and exciting. We can schedule appointments and it's all free. The best part of it is it only comes to me. I never share or sell your information. You are completely protected. All you have to do is visit CorrieLuxuryHomes.com and set up your free account. I don't think I can express enough how important it is to get the job done by a professional correctly the first time. In any situation, I have a client who got a home that the plumbing was fixed incorrectly by a non-licensed plumber, by a handyman who went and got water heaters from Home Depot that do not work with the system.
Uh-oh.
She has been dealing with the system working for a couple months, not working, a number of people out. So where I finally found an amazing plumber who, by the way, if you guys want his information, reach out to me, who 47 years experience, talked him through, sent him photos. He's like, oh yeah, that system will never work with those equipments because they're not matched. So there's a whole thing to that. But my point is, having the professional that knows what they're doing, that specializes, that's licensed, that has experience and does it right is so critical in these kinds of situations. So
definitely
retrofit one or balcony one with this division, I can't recommend highly enough, and you definitely want to reach out to Helen to schedule that.
Thank you so much, Corrie. Thank you guys. Our info's below. Reach out. My name is Helen and we're here to help you A to Z.
Absolutely. Stay tuned, guys. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, be sure to click the subscribe button below, the bell for updates. More great things coming up.